गुरुवे नमः। नमामि विष्णुपाद कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, all of you. Welcome for today's session. So today I will maybe bring out an important aspect of devotional service. So Prabhupada was hearing this lecture on the third canto from Prabhupada. So in this lecture, Prabhupada was sharing the importance of this Krishna conscious moment, how this moment is different from other moments. So Prabhupada was sharing that for a devotee, just knowing Aham Brahmasmi. So what do you mean by Aham Brahmasmi? Aham Brahmasmi means knowing that I am not this body, I am the soul. So Prabhupada is saying just knowing this is not sufficient for a devotee. So then he says, if a devotee wants to further, just knowing this is not sufficient, but a devotee should further progress. That means he says that we should engage in spiritual activity. That's what Prabhupada wants. And that's the difference that this moment is making. So Prabhupada, to understand us, he gives an analogy saying that whenever we get a fever, what we do, we check our temperature. So when the temperature goes down, can we say the fever has gone down? No, Prabhupada says just by the mere temperature drop, fever doesn't go. But we should get that appetite, and then we should become to appetite, and then the tiredness should go, and then we should engage in our normal activity. So then only the fever actually is said to be gone. So similarly, Prabhupada says here knowing Brahman is not sufficient, but here knowing what is bhakti is very important. And what is bhakti? Prabhupada says it is engaging in spiritual activities. So that is the important aspect that we have to learn here in Krishna consciousness, to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. And Prabhupada differentiates how this is different from the Mayavadi philosophy and the Buddhist philosophy. So Mayavadi's philosophy generally they say stop material activity. They say Bhagavan Brahma Nitya, Jagat Nitya. Brahma is Nitya. Brahma Nitya, Jagat Nitya. Jagat is only false. That is what Mayavadi says. And Buddhists actually work on the philosophy of Nirvana. So Prabhupada says, what is this Nirvana? So Buddhists generally think that this body which is made up of the Panchbhutas and the subtle body which is made up of mind, intelligence and false ego, if you dismantle these things, so you become Shunya. So Prabhupada again here gives the analogy of the dismantling of house. So when you are actually destroying a house, the house has got various things, right? So windows, doors, bricks, walls. So when you dismantle one by one, the entire house is gone and then it becomes Shunya. So that is what is actually the philosophy of the Buddhist and the Mayavadis. They say knowing one to be Brahman is sufficient. And Buddhist philosophy say knowing that when you become Shunya, there is no pleasure, there is no pain. Whenever this body is there, they also accept that you have pain. Just like when you get diseased, you have pain. So to cure that disease is a pleasure. But Prabhupada says, what is this cure of disease? Again, curing also you have to undergo so much of pain. You have to take that medicine. You have a side effect for that medicine. So this pleasure is also a kind of pain only. So the Buddhist says that okay, no pain, no pleasure means you have to make yourself zero. So that's what they say. But Prabhupada says it doesn't end here. Actually, this is all theoretical only. So Prabhupada says, let us come to practical. So practical means Bhagavati, so Bhaktya Bhagavati Akila and Atma. So he says, we have to engage in bhakti. As I said earlier, bhakti means engaging in devotional service. And Bhaktya Bhagavati. Bhagavati means engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord, not for anyone, but for the service of the Supreme Lord. That's what Prabhupada says. And where is the Supreme Personality of Lordhead? Prabhupada says, even though Lord is actually Goloka Nivasya, Goloka Nivasya Andantara Nivasati. Even though Lord is actually situated in Goloka, but he has expanded himself in the full of the Andantara, right? So we know this whole universe is actually being Garbhodaya, Vishnu is actually the controller of this whole universe. There are so many planets in this material world. It's not that they are simply floating. So just like this body is being controlled, I'm speaking with you because there is soul inside me. That is why I'm able to speak. So similarly, this material world is nicely operating because there is Lord in them in that. So a devotee should understand this, and then he should engage in the devotional service of the Lord, knowing that actually Lord is the full supreme controller of this material world. So that is why he says Bhaktya Bhagavati Andantara. So we should engage in the devotional service of the supreme personality of the Lord. Even actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Divere Swarupa Nitya Krishna Dasa. Our real Swarupa, the real Swarupa of Jiva is actually always to be the servant of the Lord. So until we engage in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even if we know, even by knowing Aham Brahmasmi, it's not sufficient. Until we engage in the devotional service of Supreme Personality, who is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is expanded everywhere, then our yoga system of attaining Brahma Siddhya is successful. Otherwise, it is not successful. So, how do we engage in the devotional service of the Lord? So, we have now a nice opportunity provided by Subindra Prabhu. So, we can go out in the streets. One of the activity is actually to distribute the books to everyone, this transcendental books to everyone, this transcendental knowledge to everyone. And of course, Prabhupada says that when you are distributing books, you may get disappointment. You may feel that nobody is actually taking these books. So Prabhupada says, even this knowledge, even Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam Sanishreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye. Not everybody will become actually, everybody will accept this knowledge. So Prabhupada gives an analogy like, if you want to find a fool in a market, it is very, very easy. Like most practically, like everyone is like some or other kind of a fool in this, especially in this Kali Yuga. It is very easy to find a fool in the market. But if you want to find a very intelligent person in the market, it is very, very difficult. So there is a lot of aspect that you have to test to know whether that a person is really intelligent. So that is why a person who actually comes into this Krishna conscious is very, very intelligent person, and then he's a rare person. He's out of many, many thousands. Only one actually come to this process, trying to understand himself, and out of knowing, self-realizing, out of knowing himself, but he engages in the service of the Lord. That is again rare. Knowing me, out of this 1,000%, Lord again says, one who actually understands me in truth is very, very, very most rare. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, one who has come to this process is very, very bhagyavan. So this verse is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Kono Bhagyavan. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan. Jive Kono Bhagyavan Jive Guru Krishna Kripapaye Bhakti Lata Bij. So Brahmanda Brahmita Kono Bhagyavan Jivan. So in this entire Brahmanda, who is that Bhagyavan? Who is that Jiva who is Bhagyavan? The Bhagyavan is one who has actually taken the kripa of Guru and Krishna. Why? Because he has got the purpose of, because Guru Krishna Kripa Paya Bhakti Lata Bij, because he has got this bija of bhakti. And what is this bhakti? Engaging in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why we should engage in the bhakti or engage in the transcendental activity of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Because this is a selfless service. Our Swarupa is actually to serve the Lord. Otherwise, what happens in this material world? Material world also we are engaging in an activity, but this activity is for our pleasure, for our own self we are doing. So we are trying to satisfy our senses. This is what we are doing. We are trying to satisfy our senses. But in the spiritual world, we are trying to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord. So what is the difference between the material world and the spiritual world? When you are trying to satisfy your senses, we are actually incurring karma. But when we are satisfying the senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are actually becoming joyful. That is our real pleasure, right? One may not get sufficient joy when one is actually serving himself. So that is why he always has something. If anybody is, Prabhupada generally says, especially in the Western world, if they don't have anybody, they will at least have a dog. And in India now we are seeing in an apartment, at least 80% of the people have a dog. So this is what we are trying to do. We feel more happy when we serve others. That is the reality. So that is what Prabhupada says. That is bhakti. When we go to streets also, when we distribute these books to the people, we get so much happiness. Yesterday we had a nice experience when we were distributing the books on the road. Like so many people we were seeing. One of the example, I would cite is like one person was actually not having any job. When I showed him this book, he was attracted, but he said he would be not able to pay until next week because he doesn't have money. And then I don't know what happened to him. Immediately, he said, I have only 300 rupees, Prabhu. I don't know what I will do for next week, but I will pay. So that experience was so exciting. And then Prabhuji at the end, like we were all hoping, myself, Rachna Mataji and Kailash Prabhu, we were trying to end Chaitanya Prabhu. We were all there and then we were trying, Prabhu, let's wind up. Then Subandhu Prabhu was saying, Prabhu, one more, then we will go. Then I was thinking, okay, where to find one more devotee now? Which I say, Manushya Nam Sahesh ratio. So out of thousands. So Chaitanya, then just I saw Rachna Mataji was speaking with one Mataji, and then she was saying, I will come to the VK Sports Pro, there I will buy. So I'll come there and I'll come there and buy. So we thought, oh, this Mataji is the right person. Let us now target this. She has already 10%, 20%. Mataji has been talking to her for almost 10-15 minutes. And then she has brought her from 0 to 80%. She is almost convinced to buy Bhagavad Gita. But somewhere she's stopping. Then Salesh Prabhu's Mataji also started talking to her. Then I also started talking to her. Then we took one last verse from Bhagavad Gita and asked her to read. And then she just read. What she read was that wherever Krishna is there, wherever the Arjuna is there, the greatest Dhanunjari, the greatest archer, and wherever Krishna is there, the greatest teacher, there we have all the opulence, there we have all the victory. So just by reading that, she felt, I don't know what happened. She felt so convinced that, okay, she asked her to, we will take it. Then we thought, oh, success. Then I was sharing with Rachna Mataji. Mataji, we put so much effort. Prabhu was saying, you have to make, and somehow I thought this is the Mataji. We are going. Mataji also said, Prabhu, I also was thinking same thing. So much excitement we were there. See, so much happiness, the pleasure which we come. Happiness also has got different meaning, but this happiness, there is nothing for me, nothing for Prabhu, nothing for materially for us. But the joy, where are we getting this joy? So we should understand this. This can come only through experience. And that is practicality. That is what I was sharing also. This is Prabhu, that is what Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says this is not theory. Nirvana is just assuming that you are. How can you be silent? How can you become zero? It's very, very difficult. Even your mind to keep it silent during sleep is very difficult. So it's very difficult. So Prabhupada, whatever is given is very, very practical. If you want to experience this practicality, come to book distribution and then you will experience it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.